This surprise candidate for a big acquisition seems a little bit out of left field. Is something brewing on the horizon, or has the magic fizzled out? Let's break this all down. Up next. What up, guys? This is Kalo, and I'm here to give you the lowdown on all things gaming. And if you're new here, feel free to subscribe to this channel for weekly video game news content. Drop a like on the video, and welcome to the Weekend XP Share. So before we get into today's news, I want to shout out the Twitch channel. Of course, we are nearing that number, 500 subscribers here on this channel, and whenever we do that, we're going to do our first Twitch stream. So some rather interesting news has come out over the past few days, and it involves EA and a potential buyer for the studio. Now, who's this mystery buyer? Out of all of the companies in the world to potentially buy EA, Disney is reportedly looking to spend some money. Bloomberg reported on this matter, saying Disney execs have allegedly suggested that CEO Bob Iger could transform the company from one that just licenses out their popular IPs like Star Wars and Marvel to a full-blown publisher. Their logic here, I assume, is why should we continue to pay a middleman, so to speak, to publish our games, when we could gather up some studios and direct that cash flow directly to us? Now, Bloomberg went on to state EA has had discussions with Disney over this matter within the past year, but EA has also had talks with NBC Universal, Amazon, and Apple. And out of all of those companies, it looks like only talks with NBC Universal have fallen through at this time. Now, for a while, Disney was a games publisher, albeit not a good one, and that lasted up until 2016 when they closed Disney Infinity Studio Avalanche. Since then, we've seen them license out their IPs, which spawned games like Jedi Survivor and the upcoming Wolverine and Indiana Jones games. And even more upcoming titles that include that ever so great Disney license are Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, Spider-Man 2, and Star Wars Outlaws. Now, I mention all those titles to kind of give you a perspective as to how big their scope would be if they so choose to do all this in-house and publish games themselves. But I also want to stress the point of how execution in those titles has a lot to do with their success. And personally, I don't think we're going to get the same level of games we've gotten, like a Jedi Survivor or Spider-Man 2, without that outside influence from other studios. But as far as that purchasing EA bit goes, they clearly have a pulse on the Star Wars franchise and have seen all types of success with that IP. But as a result, this would turn EA into this impromptu Disney IP factory of sorts, which is also something I don't want to see. Now, something I genuinely fear here. It's this idea of gaming franchises that got their start in the gaming world, and I'm talking about the Battlefields, Mass Effects, Dead Space, and Need for Speeds of the world. They all could be put on the back burner. I mean, to Disney's point here, why go out of your way and purchase this massive studio and not put your homegrown IPs front and center? And honestly, I think what they're doing now is just fine. License out your IPs to various studios and give them to studios that do certain games well. This has put a massive amount of money in Disney's pockets and will continue to do so. And if you're like me and grew up in the early 2000s, you lived through that era of movie-based games, and from what I remember, those games were done in-house, and I don't see any of those games winning Game of the Year. But with all that being said, I'm gonna pass this question off to you guys. Do you want to see a company like Disney buy EA? I'm in the camp where they should just continue to license out their IPs and let gaming companies do what they do best, and that's make games. But that about does it here. I've been Kalo. I gave you the lowdown on all things gaming. And if you're new here, feel free to subscribe to this channel for weekly video game news content. Drop a like on the video, and this has been the Weekend XP Share.